Hello, my name is Wesley Ely, and today I'm going to be talking to you about biodiesel, or as I like to call it, the fuel of the future. Now, first off, what is biodiesel? Biodiesel is a diesel substitute that uses a biological material, whether that is vegetable oils or recycled cooking grease or even animal fats. It's a diesel substitute that runs directly in any normal diesel motor that's based off of something that can be grown or is already produced. Now, why is it the fuel of the future? Well, one, it's renewable, whether that's using vegetable oils, which can be grown, using animal fats, which we already produce when butchering livestock, or even recycling cooking grease. We can create a fuel that runs in a standard diesel motor without having to drill for fossil fuels. Now, one example of this was in Africa, where a man by the name of Taj Madahatsa uses the Divialus caffrey seed, which is a heavily used seed in Africa in agriculture and industry. And it produces an oil that is 43% wasted during production. He decided to take that wasted oil and convert it into a biodiesel. Not only did it work, it was very comparable to any standard diesel or even any other biodiesels on the market, which allowed him to recycle something that would have been otherwise wasted. The second reason is it's easy to implement. Biodiesel goes in a standard diesel motor. There's no modifications necessary to run biodiesel. Now, in the US, it's not as common. Fossil fuels are much more common. But in Canada and parts of Africa and Europe, biodiesel is on the market. In Canada, it's a corn fuel. And in Africa, it's actually fairly common. There's even been some tests done with microgridding, which in Africa is the act of using generators to produce electricity for the more secluded communities. Now, when using generator, obviously you use a fossil fuel base generally. Well, Daniel Kinyale decided to use a biodiesel and wanted to know whether or not it was just as effective as a standard diesel or gasoline generator. He used a diesel generator equipped with a hybrid system and tested a variety of different biodiesels in that system to see which one was effective. He actually found a combination of a couple made it were the most effective option and was able to power 15 Nigerian houses off of one generator. Now, especially in Africa, where it's harder for those grids to reach out, you need to have a renewable option because electricity is inherently renewable. We have wind and we have solar and we have hydroelectric. But in those secluded communities, it's harder to reach them with a standard grid. So by having a renewable option, aka the biodiesel generators, we can reach those communities without having to rely on fossil fuels. Now, there are some downsides to fossil fuels. As any other fuel, it produces CO2. It's a fuel that you burn in a combustion engine, therefore you have exhaust, which not only produces CO2, it produces excess heat. The other main thing with biodiesel is it's not as common. We don't see it in the US, it is in Canada, but it's not as widespread as your standard fossil fuels or even your more renewable options, your electric cars and your electric systems. However, in regards to excess heat, Murat Karabulut used a thermoelectric generator which he attached to the exhaust system and was able to create a hybrid diesel motor using that electricity he harnessed. It was a simple attachment, and he tested it on a variety of single-cylinder diesel motors and was able to produce a more efficient hybrid system that used that excess heat, which therefore reduced the overall impact of that fuel system. So there is a way around it, and it's actually more efficient, which is a great success in that move. Now, the bottom line is biodiesel is renewable. You can grow the oil base for it, and you can produce it using recycled oils already. And it's also easy to implement. You don't have to modify vehicles in order to use it. And it's just as effective as a standard fossil fuel. Thank you for watching.